and they're going to need to have an army to move him over to SmackDown. Kurt Angle just said, hey, you don't got nothing to worry about. Everything's going to be fine. You're safe here on Raw. They shake. Kurt Angle's about to leave. Here comes Samoa Joe. Kurt Angle tries to break him up. And notice the fact that, of course, they don't mention the fact that Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe had one of the greatest rivalries of all time. Even if they mention, they had a great wrestling feud in Florida. Or, some other wrestling promotion or something like that. Of course, they don't mention that because it's not WWE related. If it never happened in WWE, it never happened at all. AJ was never world champion until he beat Dean Ambrose, of course. But Seth Rollins gets a little bit of advantage over Samoa Joe. We're definitely getting Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins coming up more than likely at Payback. Kind of depends on how his knee's doing. I haven't heard too many reports about Seth Rollins' knee bothering him too much, but I know you've been very crucial on the fact that, he can only wreck that knee so many times before it's time to call it quits.
Yeah, he looked good at Mania, that's for sure. Then I believe he wrestled the next night on Raw. I think it was a tag match with him and Balor and versus Joe and Kevin Owens. They looked good in that match too. I don't think the knee's an issue. I think they pumped it up to make it a lot worse than it was. Because if it really was, he wouldn't have wrestled at WrestleMania, and he definitely wouldn't have wrestled on Raw the night after. But so I think he's just kind of playing it off. And yeah, that segment, I didn't really care for that one, quite honestly. I did see what you're saying that they could have made some kind of mention about Angle and Joe, like, well, these two are something like these two are no strangers to each other, or something simple like that, But I did think it was kind of cool that like Kurt Angle's like, I'm jumping in and trying and breaking this up.
Yeah. I do like that Kurt Angle's in this, GM kind of role where he definitely seems like he believes in a lot of these, younger talents, which is very much, refreshing. Because for the longest time, we had Stephanie and, Mick Foley just do not give that much in the way of any, perspective of creating new stars. And I think Kurt Angle is finally one of those guys who is just like, you really like this guy. Let's give him something to do. Let's put him in the ring. Let's show him. Let's see what he can do. And especially with Sami Zayn. Oh my gosh! The matchup that him and Miz had was just great. And honestly, this was one of those matches where I thought to myself, okay, one of two things is going to happen. Either Sami Zayn is probably going to win, and that means he's probably going to stay on Raw, or he's going to lose, and he's just going to end up on SmackDown. But at the same time, I could see Sami Zayn winning and still going over to SmackDown. I don't know. Do you take away everything that Sammy's done on Raw and just head him over to SmackDown, start a new beginning, or I don't know. Your thoughts?
I would be okay with Sammy going to SmackDown. They really, quite honestly, haven't used him very much on Raw. They kind of had something going with him and Strowman that fizzled out, and he pretty much got his ass beat by Samoa Joe, and they just really haven't done a whole lot with him on Raw, and I think he could do a lot more on SmackDown.
Yeah, he probably could. And obviously,
so I'd be okay with it.
And obviously, if Kevin Owens goes over to SmackDown, then we could obviously still get the Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn feud, where Sami eventually wins the U.S. title. Please let there be a God, because that would be awesome. But I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens. Another pretty interesting matchup that happened, the 8-man tag match featuring The Club and the Shining Stars. Honestly, The Club was probably better off just going in this as a handicap match against the number one contenders to the tag team titles, the Great White North, Sheamus and Cesaro, or as Spencer like to call it, I need to take a Cesaro, and the Broken Hardy Boys, even though the Broken name is still not quite insinuated. Come on. Matt still has the hairstyle. He's still got the hair color in. the broken style is still there. It's a little bit watered down, obviously, but there's no denying the brokenness is still there.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for that lawsuit to get settled first.
Yeah, baby. I really just hate the fact that TNA might actually win it. Or, I'm sorry, Impact Wrestling with their fucking owl, whatever they're naming it. They can call it Shits for Brains for all I care. I don't care about no stinking owl. But it was a pretty interesting 8-man tag. And, of course, like I mentioned, Elias Samson makes a bit of a cameo before the matchup starts. Just kind of drifting, and people just say, oh, he's the drifter of NXT. So it's kind of cool that they actually mentioned that. But that's about it. He was just there for maybe like a blink of an eye, and then he just disappears. So it's like, okay. I've never liked Elias Samson, so maybe he could take the role of Kurt Hawkins and be the jobber of the show? Maybe? I don't know. I'd be okay with that.
I don't know. Actually, I liked him when he was down in NXT. And was kind of upset, like, I don't know if they released him or how that went down. I can't really remember. It was a while ago.
Well, he lost a loser leaves NXT match between him and Cassius Ohno.
Oh, okay. Okay. And then, but someone, I saw someone posted on Facebook earlier, they're like, did anyone else see Elias Samson? I want to say it might have been during the Charlotte Nia Jax match. Someone said that, like, they thought they saw Elias Samson, like, walking around. And then, sure enough, he came out on that segment. It was really weird, though, because, like, you have the tag match going on. He comes out from, like, behind the announce table and just kind of walks around with his guitar on his shoulder, standing on the stage. They reference him, and then that was it. It's like, they just pass him through, or what?
Apparently so. Another interesting deal that happened tonight was the cruiserweight situation going into the night. We had a backstage deal with Neville and TJ Perkins where Neville basically says, hey, you had all this opportunity. Then Austin Aries comes around, he takes all your opportunity away. And Neville talks about him being the only person that respects him, blah, blah, blah. And then Austin Aries comes in, the man with the greatest package, and he's holding a banana. Good Lord, did the internet just blow up with that? I mean, geez, I even said, the man with the greatest package is holding the largest banana. And of course, no, this is a literal thing. So any of you that are thinking otherwise, get your minds out of the gutter. Jeez Louise, we're talking about video packages and an actual banana. Stop it. Get your mind out of the gutter, for God's sakes. But
bunch of perverts out there.
And it evolved into a matchup between Austin Aries and TJ Perkins, in which TJ Perkins, with a distraction from Neville, picked up the victory, which, definitely shocked me quite a bit. I'm like, oh, wow, they gave TJ Perkins a win. Okay. But the interesting part about this story was actually the supposed heel turn that TJ Perkins did by attacking Austin Aries after the matchup, beating him down, hitting him with the, I think that they call it like the final detonation kick. That fireman's carry into a Pele kick or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a detonation kick.
Okay. So, TJ Perkins is finally getting a heel run. Great. Do we finally get rid of that gamer-type theme song that he's been dealing with for the last few months? Do we finally get to see something out of this whole deal with TJ Perkins?
I hope so, because quite honestly, until Neville came back and Austin Aries came back, that division has just been
Yeah.
Like, I heard a rumor shortly after they debuted on Raw that the plan was to dumb down the cruiserweight division because they didn't want it to outshine the matches that they were having on Raw, because anyone that watched the cruiserweight tournament knows that those dudes can go, but it's clear they're not letting them, and it sucks because I think these guys might be wasting their time, or wasting our time, that's for damn sure. And yeah, it's ever since Neville and Austin Aries came back. That's like, okay, now there's a little bit of life in the cruiserweight division. Heel TJ Perkins, I can get down with that. Yeah, lose the gamer 8-bit theme song, even though I like it. Change it up and come out and just do work. Here's an issue on that fight. Stop dabbing. Stop dabbing. I'm sorry, Hillary Clinton killed the dab. And she dabbed on Ellen one day, and that was the day the dab died. I don't know why TJP's still doing it.
Because maybe he's trying to redeem it, but obviously you can't fix something that's already been broken to smithereens, so...
Dude, the freaking broken Hardys couldn't even save that.
Aha, I see what you did there. So, we also saw Finn Balor in action, taking on Jinder Mahal. Pretty decent matchup, and this is where, of course, Bray Wyatt comes in, and right off the bat, I'm just like, oh my god, this is awesome. I was not expecting that. Bray Wyatt, of course, talking about being a part of Monday Night Raw, but also talking about his House of Horrors match that he's going to have with Randy Orton at Payback. And it's just like, oh man, so exciting, so exciting. Then I go over to WCCW, and I see Spencer posting something. And I think exactly his quote was, he's got the whole entire Raw world in his hands. And literally...
he's got the entire Raw roster in his hands.
Yeah. And literally I commented, I'm going to end you, because that took me back to the dark times in which Bray Wyatt got buried by John Cena. Because you cannot associate that song and not think about the fact that, oh yeah, that was where Bray Wyatt... Oh, right.
Hey, he used it in the feud against Orton.
Well, he used it only once, though. I mean, against John Cena, he used that consistently. That was the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's something. If you go back to his days down in FCW when he was starting off, he used a different song. I believe he used the "Time Is on My Side" song back when it was him and Eli Cottonwood. And then when he came to Raw, he started using. He's got the whole world in his hands. I don't know. I think did he use that in NXT too?
No,
I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think that the whole.
But,
I think that was probably just for
that
Raw.
doesn't bother me. But I'll tell you what else happened during this segment. Not only was it awesome that Bray Wyatt came out, well, not really came out, but came on the Titantron.
Mm-hmm.
This segment also got me to go on the WWE Shop Zone, and I freaking bought the the Balor Club jacket.
Oh yeah. Well, hopefully
I've wanted it for a long time, and I saw it just got added maybe like a week or two ago, and right away Alicia was like, "You're gonna get it, aren't you?" And I was like, like I want to, but I was like, it's pretty expensive. And then I was like, fuck it. I paid off both my credit cards like last semester when I got that bonus check, and I haven't really used them. So I think I'm just going to put it on my credit card and just went ahead and bought it.
Just got to treat myself every now and then.
Yeah. Just little me gift, so I should be getting that pretty soon. And that's cool.
Well, looking forward to seeing how that works out.
That was probably my favorite segment of the night.
It was
just
damn good.
Like I said earlier, that's like my number one and my number 1B. So
yeah,
my two dudes right there. It's like in hockey, like I like the Bruins, they're my number 1 team, and then I like the New York Rangers, they're my 1B. Like in WWE, it's like Bray Wyatt's my dude, and then Finn Balor's like my 1B.
Oh, I could definitely see that. Trying to think if there was anything else. Okay, the main event was okay, to say the least. That being Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, and honestly, I was still looking forward to the matchup because I remember that feud that Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose had, like the end of, I want to say maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself here, buddy. You forgot about the complete annihilation.
Oh no! There's a reason why I'm saving that for last, because that's probably the main thing that we're going to be talking about. So that's why I wanted to get.
Usually you go on like chronological order timeline wise. So you're throwing me off here.
No. I'm trying.